Every time a video of mine goes viral, somebody always comments, that profile picture is not you anymore. You need to change it. But honestly, that's BS. Your identity is everything on your weight loss journey. And that profile picture was me after I had already lost 140 pounds several years ago. So hell no, I'm not changing that profile picture. I take way too much pride in it. And I also still identify as that man. Gaining 140 pounds is the most embarrassing, humbling, beautiful thing that any human could ever go through. But it's also a marvelous example of what happens when we stop showing up for ourselves. This can happen to anybody. Maybe not to my extent, gaining 140 pounds, but this definitely happens to more people than you guys realize. 80% of people who lose an extreme amount of weight end up gaining it back and some within 5 years. So I know I'm not alone, and that's why I'm so open about this. On Instagram, my main platform, I get hundreds of DMs every month. People like you and me who want to either get in the best shape of their life, want to be back into their former selves, or want to exceed it entirely. But let's get back to the evidence. There's a psychologist named James Clear who talks about how you don't change by trying to force new habits. The real change actually happens when you change how you see yourself. And it's not just as simple as manifesting. It's literally as simple as saying, I'm a healthy person now, rather than saying, I'm on a diet or I'm on a weight loss journey. The same way you'll hear me saying multiple times, this is not me. This version of me is not real. This is not who I am. I'm the skinny guy. I'm the healthy guy. I'm the athletic guy. This is not just manifestation and affirmations. It is me literally reminding myself who I am. You got to communicate with yourself in a very intentional way. You got to communicate with your brain in a very intentional way. One thing that's worked really well for me that I learned in therapy was putting my thoughts on trial. I started to actually listen to the things that I was telling myself, and then I'd put that thought on trial and question it until I figured out whether or not this was a legitimate thought or I should kick it to the side and focus on other things. When I'm a bigger dude, I started to realize that I rationalize with myself a lot, and I will do the easy thing every single time if I let myself. And I got to step outside of my comfort zone and start doing the hard things, start doing the things that make me uncomfortable, start switching it up. For example, when I got fat, I was scared to look at my old photos. I started to look at those old photos and I started to remind myself, hey, that's you. You did that. Take pride in it, but the world doesn't view it the same. A lot of people will laugh at you and say that you're trying to relive the glory days, or just the same way that they laugh at women and say they let themselves go after having kids. It's kind of ironic how the world is so unforgiving of others and laughs and shames other people for gaining weight, but a lot of people are going through this, more than we realize. Like, if you guys could actually see the amount of DMs I receive from people who can resonate with my journey, it's actually astronomical. So many. Hundreds, if not thousands of people saying, hey man, I might not have gained 140 pounds, but I gained 80 or I gained 40. And it's enough for me to the point where they don't feel like themselves no more. And they feel like they're spiraling. And they feel like there might be some even further information that I can give them than what I'm posting on my account to help stop the spiral. But I got some bad news for you. There's not. And the only thing that you can do right now is to remember who the hell you are. And to start reminding yourself every single day by doing the things and claiming to be what you already are. It's as simple as reminding yourself, looking in that mirror, starting to tell yourself you're still that same person, and then going into the world and proving it. I dealt with cognitive dissonance after I started to lose my identity because the things that I was doing in my life in private were not aligning with the things that I was talking about online. And I was gaining weight and losing control in my life and struggling with financial and relationship issues, gaining a bunch of weight. And I was not doing the things that people had been inspired by me for, people had followed me for. And I was a coach at the time as well. I was training people. I was in turmoil. I was spiraling out of control and completely losing myself. And the reason for that is because I literally forgot who I was. I stopped being who I was. I stopped affirming it, and I felt like a fraud. I fell into a deep depression. Can't point the finger at anybody else. I don't blame anybody else for my weight gain. I just wish that I had somebody there for me when I started gaining this weight back, but I really didn't. I was alone. I wasn't making the best decisions, and I was a father of 2 kids. Broke as hell and trying to navigate my new life. The life of a single father who got really fat, who has 2 kids and is a present dad, and totally forgot who the hell I was. There was a point in there where I felt like my identity was being a dad. I felt like a bad dad if I didn't have all my attention on my kids. And I still deal with that to some degree. But it's because I want to give my kids everything that I never had. And I also don't want to make the same mistakes as my parents and give them too little. But I realized the greatest gift I could give them is myself, and to take care of myself and to show up as dad every single time. And not just some irritable, cranky, lesser version of myself. Your identity is everything. If you're not spending multiple hours a day trying to figure that out, or if you're not affirming it every single day, get off your damn phone, lock in, remind yourself who you are. If you watch this video all the way to the end, I think you're ready to start living just like I was when I woke back up January 1st, 2026. Lock back in, remind yourself who you are. Let's get to work.